Hypoglycemic drugs effects. Diabetes is a serious medical condition in which your body cannot control the amount of sugar in your blood. There are two types of diabetes. In type 1, the immune system destroys beta cells. As a result, there is a low insulin production. In type 2, there is a beta cell dysfunction and decrease of beta cell mass. As a result, people are not able to use glucose as an energy source, and the glucose levels will grow. Because of that, people with diabetes have hyperglycemia. It is a condition in which an excessive amount of glucose circulates in the blood plasma. Finally, the insulin is a peptide hormone which regulates the metabolism of carbohydrates. As we can see, the methodology is written on this slide. The dosage were of 0.5 grams in 1 rat for glucose, 1 milliliter for isotonic solution in 1 rat, and 4 units of insulin in 1 rat. And the concentrations were 50% for glucose solution and 0.9% of sodium chloride for isotonic solution. We worked with Wistar female rats. The objective was to determine the hypoglycemic effects of insulin in hyperglycemic rats. We can see that positive control had high glucose levels, even after the first administration. On the other hand, negative control and the tests 1, 2, and 3 had normal levels. Maybe the rat in positive control was diabetic. A statistical analysis was done in order to corroborate if there were significant differences between controls and groups of test. Differences about insulin hypoglycemic effects. Insulin and glucose are absorbed well, and because of their pharmacokinetics properties, they can be absorbed quickly. Insulin has a very high molecular weight, but it can be absorbed by mechanisms as endocytosis. It is a form of transport in which a cell transports molecules, such as proteins, into the cell. The distribution is fast for the two substances. Insulin is secreted by beta cells in pancreas. It is necessary that receptors, as glucose transporters type 2, detect concentrations of glucose. If it happens, there will be glycolysis inside of the cells, which will lead to the inactivation of ATP channels dependent. Then there will be a depolarization and calcium will increase inside of the cell. As a result, insulin in vesicles will be secreted. After that, insulin will be transported by blood plasma and then it will come to the cells of muscle tissue and adipose tissue. In that places, the insulin receptor will detect insulin concentrations and it will activate through intracellular mechanisms of phosphorylation in order to express more proteins. In this case, glucose transporter type 4. It is the explanation of the experiment run. In the case of isotonic solution, his function was dilute blood plasma and because of that, decreasing the glucose levels in blood plasma, but in a little way. As a conclusion, it were determined the hypoglycemic effects of insulin in hyperglycemic rats. There is an hypoglycemic effect, but we couldn't see it because of the sample size.